Hi, and welcome to The Break, a weekly newsletter where I provide stories and actionable insights on breaking work and building the future you want. If you like what you've been listening to thus far, please follow along with me on Twitter. You can find me at @mngarden, or on LinkedIn, where you can find me by searching Michael Garden for more community and conversations around breaking work. This week, we're talking about 11 cognitive distortions that are crushing your potential. So today, at a glance, the only thing holding us back from having the life we want is the errors in how we view our own reality. These errors are called cognitive distortions in psychology. Understanding them and mitigating them is key to making better decisions, being happier, and having better relationships. Read all the way to the end to find a helpful tool I've used to get over my own distortions. Real quick before we dive into the content, I am launching a course soon. It's called Advantage Mapping Foundations, and we're in pre-launch. So in my work, we deal with that feeling a lot. I wrote about it a couple weeks ago. I'm getting ready to launch my first course, Advantage Mapping Foundations, in about 30 days. Advantage Mapping is all about a systematic, high-odds approach to career discovery. I would love it if you hopped on over to my sales page and reserved your spot at no cost to you whatsoever. And here's what you get simply for registering. You get a chance to win one of 5 free course slots from me, valued at over $250. You get early access to our Breakers community, and you get access to an exclusive interview with an upcoming special podcast guest that I'm really excited about. Simply click below to check out our page and join the waitlist. And if you're looking for a new job or to hire in 2023, start with ZipRecruiter today to find the best opportunities and candidates out there. I'm proud to partner with this award-winning company to bring you this newsletter absolutely free. All right, we need to crush these thinking errors in order to reach our potential. So I've been fascinated with how we can be so evolved, smart, and so capable, yet continuously limit our abilities. Our minds are the only governors limiting our potential, the quality of our relationships, and the quality of our judgments. And so many of us, me included, haven't reached our potential because of the irrationality by which we see ourselves. Many of us spend our early careers thinking we aren't ready, worthy, good enough, smart enough, experienced enough, only to realize a decade later that it was all in our heads. We should have started sooner. We should have listened to our inner voice. And those that never listen to that voice wake up at 85 with huge regrets, like, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Let's not do that. Our self-limiting thoughts tend to come from our inability to see reality and weight events properly. By weight, I mean assign the proper amount of importance to a situation, event, characteristic, or whatever that is happening. For example, a boss sends you a quick email that you interpret as gruff. You start to think your boss doesn't like your work, and you spend the rest of the day spun up about it and start to think you're not good at your job. In reality, your boss was at his son's doctor's appointment and quickly blasting through emails to get caught up. These errors in thinking are called cognitive distortions in psychology. There's an entire subdiscipline called decision psychology, dedicated to thinking errors, biases, and cognitive distortions. Besides psychologists, investors are at the forefront of understanding these distortions. Why? Because if they deal better with their cognitive distortions, they make better judgments and make more money. This is why I incorporate so much of investment analysis and investment psychology in my work around careers. There's a lot to learn. The 11 biggest cognitive distortions to guard against. So cognitive distortions, as we said before, are irrational thoughts, and they can influence your emotions. Everyone experiences cognitive distortions to some degree, but in their more extreme forms, they can be harmful. For example, research shows that most people who suffer from anxiety or depression are more on the pessimistic scale. Pessimists, as it turns out, are more prone to cognitive distortions. The good news is that by understanding these distortions, you can hack them and improve every aspect of your life, especially your ability to see your own capabilities. If you consider yourself a pessimist, as I once did, hacking your cognitive distortions is your path to being more optimistic, resilient, and happier, which leads to more trust and confidence in yourself to take bolder action, listen to your heart and your head, and persevere along your path when times get hard. Buzz through these 11 distortions and read to the end to learn a little trick that helped me overcome many of them. So the first is magnification and minimization. This means exaggerating or minimizing the importance of events. One might believe their own achievements are unimportant, or that their mistakes are excessively important. Example, a student earns an A on a difficult exam, but focuses only on the question they got wrong, feeling like a failure. The second is catastrophizing, seeing only the worst possible outcome of a situation. Example, a person assumes they will fail a job interview and won't get hired, even though they have the qualifications and experience. Overgeneralization, making broad interpretations from a single or few events. I felt awkward during my interview and am always awkward. Example, after a bad first date, a person assumes that all dates will be bad and gives up on dating altogether. Personalization, the belief that one is responsible for events outside of their own control. My mom is always upset. She would be fine if I did more to help her. Example, a person thinks that their friend's bad mood is their fault because they didn't do enough to cheer them up. Jumping to conclusions, interpreting the meaning of a situation with little or no evidence. Example, a person assumes that their partner is cheating on them because they saw them talking to someone of the opposite sex at a party. Mind reading, interpreting the thoughts and beliefs of others without adequate evidence. She would not go on a date with me. She probably thinks I'm ugly. Another example, a person assumes that their boss thinks they're incompetent because they haven't received any positive feedback recently. Fortune telling, the expectation that a situation will turn out badly without adequate evidence. Example, a person assumes that they will fail a job interview before even going into it, based solely on their own self-doubt. Emotional reasoning, the assumption that emotions reflect the way things really are. I feel like a bad friend, therefore I must be a bad friend. Another example, a person feels guilty about taking a day off of work, so they assume that their coworkers are angry with them for not being there. Disqualifying the positive, recognizing only the negative aspects of a situation while ignoring the positive. One might receive many compliments on an evaluation, but focus on the single piece of negative feedback. Another example, a person receives a positive performance review at work, but only focuses on the one area where they need improvement. Should statements, the belief that things should be a certain way. I should always be friendly. Example, a person thinks that they should never make a mistake and beat themselves up when they do. All or nothing thinking, thinking in absolutes such as always, never, or every. I never do a good enough job on anything. Another example, a person thinks they're a total failure because they made one mistake at work, ignoring all the times they've succeeded. Overcoming cognitive distortions to thrive. The great news is our mental frameworks aren't fixed. They can be changed with the right tools. To help people overcome depression, for instance, therapists use many journaling techniques. One of these is a thought log. A thought log is a simple journal exercise to help you recognize, label, and reframe your cognitive distortions. Over the course of a week or two, when you have a negative thought, you log number 1, the event that happened, number 2, your thought, what you were actually thinking in the moment, number 3, the consequence or feeling or behavior of that thought. 4 is you label it one of these 11 cognitive distortions that we just went over. So you categorize it. Number 5, you reframe that thought. So you basically, it's a rational counter statement for what happened that is more likely. I have an example below. So the event is my supervisor at work is angry. The thought is I must have made a mistake. Now I've done it. They'll fire me for sure. The consequence, I am sad and anxious. I spent time obsessing over my mistake. The cognitive distortion is catastrophizing. And the reframe could be something like, my supervisor could be angry about anything. She's usually happy with my work. So even if I made a mistake, it's probably not a big deal. So give that a try and let me know how it goes. Shoot me a note, hit me up on Twitter or LinkedIn and let me know how it goes. P.S. I actually do this exercise and I'm doing it right now, actually. P.P.S. You can steal my thought log template by clicking on the link right here. We'll see you again next week.